All the big Samsung phones in the US are getting Android 10 today. One could almost say that the robot army is coming to get us because it's Armageddon 10. You heard me. This is the Android Police Podcast.
It's Monday, December 16th. Welcome. I'm Cody Toombs alongside Corbin Davenport. And it's the middle of December. There's not much happening these days, except actually kind of a lot of little things, especially Android 10. Tons and tons of Android 10. You know, as long as you're running a Samsung phone or a Motorola phone.
Yeah, what a wild world we're living in now, where Samsung phones are getting updated within a few months of the Android release. That's
pretty
wild.
much.
I got Android 10 on my S10e like last week. I think I totally wasn't expecting that for another probably month or two. So that was a fun surprise.
Yeah, so basically all of the most recent Galaxy phones have been updated to Android 10 as of today. That's basically the Note 10, S10 on most carriers. International, I'm not quite sure what the situation is. And then all of the flagships, like the previous year's flagships and I guess special models, are supposed to be by the end of January. So it's coming close. This is happening pretty quick. Motorola is, updating the Motorola One Power in most regions, and I believe Motorola is supposedly going to be getting all of their stuff. I want to say, actually, maybe I'm misremembering. I thought I saw that they had a roadmap to get a lot of other stuff out in the next 2 months too. But regardless, these are two companies that weren't exactly running the best reputations for updates, and they're hitting it really fast this year. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean the Motorola One series, at least the Moto One Power, that's an actual Android One device. So in theory, that shouldn't be this far behind still. Like it's still kind of early for Android 10, but also it's running stock Android. It's like what have you guys been doing over there for 3 months?
Yeah.
But good job, I guess, Motorola. You're trying.
Yeah, but in stark contrast, there is one phone that is inexplicably only now getting an update to Android 9 Pie. That's going to be the HTC U11. Now, in fairness, this phone actually was getting updated it was about 6 months ago. But as it turns out, there were apparently some issues with the updates that were going out. Some phones were apparently getting bricked, and as a result, Sprint basically said, no, we're just going to stop this update. It's not going to happen anymore. But for whatever reason, it took them now all these many months later to actually resume that update process. So yeah, it as weird as it is, there are phones getting updates to Android Pie right now.
Yep. It's always fun when it gets to that stage where you're so late that the next Android version has come. But better late than never. Pie was a good update. I'm sure all those U11 users are very happy.
I'm sure that's a large number of people.
Yeah, all 12 of them. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, you and 11 others. Sorry, had to do it.
Speaking of 11, well, maybe not 11, but there's a future release of Android that will have dark mode scheduling. Maybe Android 11, maybe it'll be in one of the Pixel feature drops that Google's now calling it when they sort of push updates to the Pixel phones outside of a major Android release. So one of the most confusing aspects of Android 10 is that Google went through all the trouble of adding a dark mode and updating all their apps to support that mode, but didn't put in a way to automatically switch to dark mode when it gets dark outside. That seems like it would be one of the easiest parts, especially since it was on Samsung's One UI skin for Android Pie, So Samsung figured it out. I don't know what's taking Google forever. The feature was requested in Google's issue tracker, and just now they've confirmed it for a quote future Android release quote. So again, that could be Android 10, that could be a Pixel feature drop. Who knows? It's coming at some point. Um, but it's still astounding to me that that didn't make it into the final Android 10.
Yeah, from a developer standpoint, I can conceive of maybe a couple weird edge cases why they might have they probably had the implementation. Well, we know they had the implementation working. This is something you could have actually turned on with ADB,
Yeah,
but
like it's in the code. They just didn't
yeah, they never
do the
gave
final.
an
Yeah,
interface to it.
yeah.
But
And again, this like that's something Samsung did last year.
yeah,
So it can clearly and Samsung doesn't even have the um the infrastructure for detecting time and location and everything that maybe Google does or can do better. So it's very strange, but
yeah, yeah,
it's
it
coming.
which hey, this is easily one of the most requested features as of Android 10. So, it's fair. It's good news that it's coming, even if even if very strangely delayed.
Yeah.
Uh, the one sad part is if it actually does take until Android 11, we might not see. Well, we definitely won't see it on the original Pixel, and we may or may not see it on the Pixel 2. Which how weird would that be?
Yeah.
About as weird as the Google app not showing personal results. Look at that transition. Anyway,
Excellent.
yeah. So, as it turns out, for quite a few years, since 2016, you've actually been able to see on-device apps, contacts, messages, various app integrations, all of which would actually show up if you used the Google app search to find stuff. For whatever reason, a lot of this has stopped appearing. It's this started actually with, I believe, the contacts stopped showing in search several months ago, and then over time, especially since October, this has apparently become just kind of a progressive decline. A lot of stuff just stopped showing up, and now I guess for everybody, it's now officially over. There is, of course, the personal tab, and you can find a few results in there, but it's not much. So
I
yeah,
don't think
one
I
of
I don't think I ever used this.
uh I did a few times. Every once in a while I would tap on the search box and search for an app name instead of opening up the launcher, but that was about it. I mean, really just hunting for apps was the only time I used it. So I kind of wonder how
Oh,
often people really did use this.
I mean, I use it on. Um, I didn't do that in the Google app. I would just do that in the app drawer search bar in whatever launcher I was using.
Right. Yeah,
But
and that makes sense. That's where I used it for many years, but every once in a while when I was lazy, I just hit the like persistent search box because I always use the Pixel launcher, so of course persistent search box is always stuck there. Uh but yeah, that was about the only time I really used it. Which to be fair was also about the only time I ever used that persistent search box, which, you know, that's always been a thing.
yeah,
But for those who are using it, notably, Nova Launcher's implementation actually still provides these results. So that's odd.
there you go.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a good transition for this, but Android Police, the thing you're watching right now, is live on Twitch 4 times a week, and that's a lot of work. And Jules tries very hard to make it happen, and we can't do that without all your support. So if you like this show, we would super appreciate it if you would subscribe to us on Android. I'm sorry, twitch.tv/Android Police. When you subscribe, you get a special emoji of Ryan when he was really drunk at an event. It's a lot of fun to use. And also, when you subscribe, that gives you extra entries in all of the giveaways that we do. And we do a lot of giveaways now. So that's lots of opportunities for you to win some fun stuff. The subscribe tiers start at $5 a month, but if you have an Amazon Prime account, Amazon gives you one free subscription every month you can give to someone. So if you give it to us, you still get all those benefits, and it still monetarily supports us. Supports us. It's not just Jeff Bezos funny money. It's real money. And you can learn more at twitch.tv/Android Police. But if you don't use Twitch, you can still go to androidpolice.com and hit the donate button to help us out. And we have a lot of ways you can do that. You can send us real money or bitcoins or whatever other cryptos are fun these days. And that's about it. So moving on from that, let's talk about a banana. You didn't think we were going to go there today, did you? So there was a whole this was one of those things where if you were on Twitter in the past week, you probably couldn't escape this story that everyone was sharing. There was a art show in, where was this? Miami Beach, the Art Basel art show. And one of the pieces, I use that term very loosely, was a banana duct taped to a wall. And that was made. The piece was called Comedian. I guess it was supposed to be a satire or something. I write about phones for a living, so I'm not the person to try to describe this. But it was a banana duct taped to a wall, and it sold for $120,000, which might have been money laundering, but again, I'm not sure. I write about phones for a living. But the reason we're talking about it is Nokia did a smart little PR thing, and they posted a tweet that says, "Bananas are delicious, but a banana that can make calls, now that's a masterpiece." And they attached a picture of their Nokia banana phone duct taped to the wall, which is very clever. So yeah, just a fun, stupid thing.
Yeah, it's certainly bizarre. I'm not really part of the art world either, so I really don't know what to make of it. But I guess cheers to them for finding a really interesting way to make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's just a fun, dumb thing Nokia did that I appreciate. Also, someone later ripped the banana off the wall and ate it, and they had to replace the banana. So that was a thing. It's been a week. That's what I'm trying to get across. It's been a week.
That it has. Speaking of weird stuff, because why wouldn't you want this? Why would you want this? I don't know. Roland, by the way, in case you aren't familiar with that name, they make keyboards, musical instrument keyboards, and they now have one called the Go Piano that has Alexa. So basically, what you can do is, I guess, while you're talking to your keyboard, you can tell it to do things. Those things could involve ordering food, because as a musician, of course, you got to eat.
Yeah.
Other things you might do, which apparently is the actual purpose of this, is to change settings on the keyboard. So instead of going through the menus, which, we're talking about a keyboard that has a pretty tiny screen. The button configuration is never going to be that fast. You're never going to want to change things that quickly. So what you can do here is tell the keyboard to change certain settings and or open certain sounds, things like that, and it will do this by voice. So I guess that's a bit more convenient. You can also have it do things like turn on a metronome. You can tell it to start recording, things like that. So I get the purpose for it. It makes sense, but at the same time, it just seems so strange that you're going to have a keyboard with a built-in voice assistant.
Yeah, but I mean, we're only a couple weeks away from CES, and that's when we see Alexa in everything you could possibly imagine CES being in. I mean, Alexa being in. So I think this is just a precursor to warm us up for all of the strange home electronics that will have Alexa in them next month.
Yeah, they
But
certainly will. And oh yeah, I'm sure that this year is going to be another one that's nothing but CES with every gadget, every assistant, except maybe Cortana.
Yeah, it doesn't really. No, no
Poor
one's looking for.
Cortana.
Yeah, no one's looking for Cortana. I'd still. Yeah, it stinks.
Oh, hey, Crunchy Goodness in chat brought up a great little comment. Sam Jackson. Imagine this: Sam Jackson speaking to you from your keyboard. Now that this is something I actually feel like we need.
That's a selling point. Put that on the box.
Hells yeah.
Should come with the $1 Samuel Jackson voice.
Ooh, yes.
Greatest crossover. Anyway, so moving on from this silly keyboard, we are doing a Reader's Choice Award for the best smartphone of 2019. So the editors at Android Police already picked their favorite phone of the year, which was the Pixel 3a, which I wholeheartedly agree with. That's an excellent phone. But we're also doing a Reader's Choice. So we have a poll in the show notes and in the Twitch chat and wherever you're listening to this that you can vote in. And you have until 12 p.m. Pacific this Friday to vote. So I don't know that would be the 20th, December 20th. So we have phones nominated from Samsung, Google, OnePlus, Huawei, Xiaomi, and Realme. I'm surprised the Galaxy Fold didn't make it into the list, but that didn't get enough votes in the initial round. Like we actually started this off. We asked people in the comments to suggest phones, and we would put like the top 10 or so into this actual poll. Surprisingly, the Galaxy Fold didn't get that many votes, but I guess not many people have had the chance to try a $2,000 phone. I can kind of understand that. So yeah.
Well, it at the very least it could be considered most interesting phone of the year. Oh, and Killbot also brings up the Moto Fold, which that's the Moto Razr, right? Yeah, that one would have been a good one to have too.
Well, that's not even out yet. I don't think that qualifies.
Oh, good point.
I think it's not out. I don't think it's out.
No, I'm sure you're right. It's not out yet. But yeah, the folding phones, kind of like what Jules says in chat, the folding phones are probably going to be a thing for next year. Come next year, we'll have to actually take them semi-seriously.
And I'm sorry for my dog in the background. She's getting very upset because she hears people in the hallway. So
it's okay. That'll get edited out.
It probably won't because you were talking while she did it. It's fine. It's okay. We're all good here. She's Daisy's our special guest. I'm gonna go let her out real quick.
All right. Well, on that note, because why not? And I'm gonna give the perfect little edit point for Jules. So I have to agree. It's the 3A was definitely the phone of the year for us. I think we all agreed, and we even had this conversation on the Q&A a couple weeks ago. The 3A really just set a good bar for almost every phone. It wasn't the best phone in any particular regard, and for the most part, but it didn't have too many compromises, and the price was actually very reasonable as long as you live in the US or one of those other countries that didn't get it overpriced. Yeah. But yeah. So now it's definitely time for people to join in and give their opinions as well.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any questions we missed while we were talking.
Does not look like it. So all the topics we've talked about today can be found at androidpolice.com/podcast. We're live 4 times a week on twitch.tv/androidpolice, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any, please send them to please send an email to podcast@androidpolice.com. On Twitter, I'm Cody_Toombs. That's TOOMBS. Corbin's at Corbin Davenport. And our producer, Jules Wang, is at Point Jules. And our theme music is by Home. We're excited to announce that Nicole Scott of Mobile Geeks will be joining us on Wednesday, and MKBHD himself, Marquez Brownlee, is coming here on Friday. So get hyped, take care, and have a great night.